Hey everybody.
Hey there.
It's Thursday and here we are again. We just every Thursday at 1 o'clock we just seem to find ourselves sitting right here side by side.
Well, at least we're side by side.
Well, yeah, otherwise we'd have to have two computers going.
Well, we do have two
And
computers.
it would have to be in separate rooms because if they're in the same room, then you get feedback. But here we are anyway. And this is Opposite Saxes. Thanks for joining us. We really are happy to have you with us, and we are brought to you today by our dear friend Christine Dean. She is called the DFW Networking Diva, and for good reason, because she can help you with your marketing, she can help you with your website, she can help you with organizing your business plans. She knows all that stuff. She's very good at all of it. And you can reach out to her for a free consultation and tell her you just want her to take a look at what you're doing and see if it looks good. She'll let you know honestly. If it looks good, say it ain't broke, don't fix it. Fine. Otherwise, she'll give you a couple of tips of what you might want to do. Maybe you need to improve it in one way or another.
She's really not a diva. I mean, she's a know-it-all when it comes to
She's a positive
IT,
diva.
but she's not.
The thought of a diva
princess.
is usually somebody, yeah, that's kind of, they're always patting themselves on the back.
No,
Believe me,
she's very down to earth.
she is the exact opposite, really, because she does not pat herself on the back.
No, not at all.
She
needs
just
to.
does what she does because she loves helping people.
She does. She truly does.
Yep.
She's a gem.
And that is good advice, and that is the topic of our discussion today. Advice.
Yeah, if this doesn't go well, it's going to be my fault. This was my idea.
Well, then let me give you some advice.
Don't open my big mouth.
No, when you said how about if we just talk about giving advice, and I said, well, yeah, that's not a bad idea, because when you stop and think about it, all of us probably try to give advice to others, and there was a time going back a little bit where I think advice was probably accepted a little bit more. And people sought advice.
And they gave it more freely.
Yeah, I'm not talking about medical at all. I'm just talking about, maybe, where should we go for dinner? Or where should we go? Years ago, somebody
that advice.
Well, but I'm saying that's one form of advice you might ask for, is where to go, what movie to see at the theater, what plays are showing in the area, and you ask advice. Then somebody says, oh, you should go see this movie. Say, oh, really? Well, why? And they would tell you why. They would give you advice as to why you should see the movie. You always see the tomatoes and the critics.
The tomatoes.
Yeah, and what they say, that's advice.
It is. But when I think of the word advice, I think of when I was really young and my parents telling me what to do or offering me advice. Or
well, that's a good point that you raise, is when we were young, was the advice that we received more telling or advising? With my parents,
telling.
I think it was more military.
Well,
it's an order.
They explained though why they were giving that. Well, I wouldn't say order in my family, but you might say it in yours. But they had to explain why they were telling you that.
Yeah.
And
did you get advice from your girlfriends in school?
I'm thinking, did I get advice from my
didn't you used to seek advice from your friends about, hey, Robert over there, I think he's kind of cute, what do you think?
No.
Oh, so told me that he's this and that.
Well, that's not advice, that's gossip. That's what we did.
Well, where's the line between gossip and advice?
Oh, I think there's a big line. I think gossip is gossip talking about somebody else. Advice is someone giving their opinion on maybe what would benefit you.
So here's the skinny on Robert. And my advice is, don't go out with him. Is that what you're saying?
No, I never get that kind of advice.
Really? Oh, I did.
Did
you?
Mm-hmm. Not to go out with that particular girl, or not to be friends with that kind of guy?
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying about gossip is because sometimes in that scenario, sometimes if you thought it was advice you were giving somebody, it probably was gossip.
Yeah, you gotta be careful there.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially with the women. Women can be awfully,
gossipy.
well, they can be tough.
There's
can-
there's a stronger word than gossipy.
Yeah, well, and
Yeah.
there's a stronger word than tough, but you got to watch your back with some women. I don't think
Yeah.
men can be like that, and especially in business. But women, you got to be careful, even on the day-to-day stuff.
So when you want to go out and shop for something, you want to shop for a car or furniture or something.
Or
Today we go and we Google for advice of where to go.
I would say recommendations.
Yeah. Well, again,
Which kind of overlap to advice. You're right.
yeah, but sometimes you reach out to your family and your friends and you say, listen, we're going to buy or lease a new car and everything. And somebody says, listen, I think you should check out this.
Yeah.
That's advice. And
That's true.
and I think that today we don't seek advice as often as we should because you've got that computer in front of you and you can Google it and find it for yourself. But I sometimes think that personal advice can be more valuable than Googling. If you're looking for somebody to do repairs on your house, if you get advice from a neighbor that says this guy is really good, or whatever you do, don't hire so-and-so.
That's where that Nextdoor app has really flourished.
Yeah, because that is, that's basically like an advice app.
Yeah. A lot of people, but then a lot of people I am now seeing when you ask for advice, they throw in something so random, so stupid that why did they even enter the conversation? But I guess that can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
But when I'm thinking advice, the Nextdoor comes into mind, the cars come into mind, all things, insurances come into mind. But I remember the first piece of advice I got from my mom, and I know you got it too. Always have clean underwear on because you never know what can happen.
Because if you ever get into an accident,
yes,
and they take you to the hospital, you want to make sure you have clean underwear. And
I don't know why.
And when I grew up, I kept thinking, if I get into an accident that's that bad, I'm either going to have blood all over my underwear or I will have pooped in my underwear.
Oh my God.
That's so one way or the other, when I get loaded into that ambulance, I probably don't have clean underwear for one reason or another.
Well, with that being said,
well, and also stop and think, when we were kids growing up, what color was your underwear? White. It was always white. Today, it can be printed, it can be checked, it can be
anything.
Yeah, multicolor, light, dark, whatever. And also,
okay, well,
our advice is buy brown underwear.
No, that's not my advice. That's a guy's.
I think it's funny.
Guy. Okay, well, I came up with some.
Look, when I was in the Army, our underwear was olive drab green.
Well, what would you expect?
Your underwear matched your shirt, your pants, everything else you own.
They're not going to come out with hard underwear or printed underwear, sports teams.
I mean, they would issue you olive drab if you wanted to wear hearts.
I guess you could, but I'm sure the guys would make fun of you.
You were taking a chance if you went to the shower.
Yeah, right.
Wearing hard underwear.
All right. Well, these are not going to be about underwear, these pieces of advice, but let's a few that I came up with.
We're giving you advice, folks.
Yeah.
So you want to grab a pen and pad or jot them down,
or they can record them,
or you can record it. Yeah, hit the record button and save it.
The best one I think that I've come across is show up fully. Don't dwell on the past. Don't daydream about the future, but concentrate on showing up fully in the present, right then and there at the moment.
So be yourself. You're saying
no, just don't go off on the deep ends either way. Just be here today, right now.
Yeah. Like we are.
Yeah.
1 o'clock on Thursday.
Be patient and persistent. Okay.
No, wait, are those,
These
do
are
you do
pieces
those
of
together?
advice.
Do you do those together? Be
No.
patient and be persistent?
No. Oh, yes. Well,
See,
I
'cause
guess
those-
it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Okay. How about in order to get, you have to give?
Yeah.
Like that?
Well, isn't that like do unto others as you would do unto you yourself? Yeah.
Be your best at all times.
Hmm.
Okay. Life is good, but it's not fair. So true. You can't always get what you want. Your favorite.
Always get what you want.
That's it.
But if you try sometimes, you might
Might
find
find.
you get what you need. Oh, God, Rolling Stones.
Okay.
One of my favorite
And this
all-time
is,
songs.
what about this one? And we don't think about it when we're doing this, but don't make decisions when you are angry or ecstatic. Okay. The best decisions are made with a clear conscience and not when you have any emotional stuff, baggage going on.
Not impulsive,
Yeah.
Positive
or negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, you're right. Most decisions in your life should be made after being informed. You know, just say, I think I'm just going to go out and buy that car because it looks good. You got to determine if it really fits your needs, both budget wise and use wise. I mean, like
going back to the cars for you today.
No, it's just thinking, if a guy goes out, he wants a sports car, even though he knows he should probably have an SUV.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's everybody's.
I mean, a woman always wants that ring with the sparkly diamonds. And
Oh yeah. But it's not always possible.
I know, but that's impulse.
Okay.
That's why we always come home with candy from the grocery store, because it's right there at checkout. And while you're waiting, say, man, that payday bar really looks good. I think I'll just take one.
But that's where this next one comes up.
Aha, see, I said it.
Do what is right, not what's easy.
Yeah, that's a hard. That is a hard one for me.
Yes, it is.
Don't necessarily always do what's right.
Now, this is, I think, what more of us should think, and that is treat others the way you want to be treated.
Well, that's the do unto others.
Yes. You did
version 2.
Yeah.
And that has been one that we've been taught ever since we were kids. If you're kind to other people, they'll be kind to you. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different ways of saying
different variations.
And unfortunately, my opinion, we don't live in that society anymore. People don't have a tendency to be kind to others. They demand you be kind to me, and I'll decide if I want to be kind.
But just because they're that way doesn't mean you have to be that way.
That's what I'm saying. My advice is, if you get into a confrontation, something like that, turn and walk the other way.
Yeah.
Don't even
don't go there.
Involved.
Don't get right. What about this one? Trust your instincts.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. In fact, how many times have you, let's say, just taken a quiz and you're looking at the answers and you're not exactly sure, but one kind of stands out. Let's say, choice B is the one that kind of stands out, and you go ahead and you keep looking and you pick D, and the right answer was B. you instinctively, B was the one that popped out first, but how often do we go with that gut?
But they say you should. You should always go with your gut.
Right.
Okay.
Well, yeah. How many people win the lottery? My gut feeling was those numbers are going to come through.
Well, that's all the time. Learn something new every day.
Every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I was growing up, I had a teacher, my lit teacher, always used to tell us to pick a new word every day and use that word at least once in a sentence. And that was a good way to learn your vocabulary.
We should do that as we're aging.
Yeah.
Pick a word every day.
Aging. That's the word of today. Aging.
I think you your advice to me a lot of the times is always keep it simple. So you're getting
That's called the KISS theory.
yeah.
Keep it
Keep it
simple,
simple,
stupid.
stupid. Yeah, don't make things harder than they have to be.
Yeah. Well, but that's truer as we get older.
Yeah.
We try to keep it simple. You have a tendency to take the rougher road when you're younger because you feel you can handle that. When you get older, you make it simple. You know, instead of having a souffle, you just have a couple of eggs and a bagel.
Well, I've always been that way.
Yeah. or pick up the phone.
That's true. I hate to say that. Yeah. Well, that's what
Honey,
I
would
got.
you like beef Wellington tonight or pizza?
Really?
Good.
No.
Yeah. Well, my choice would be
The pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah, we all know that. Yeah.
But that was the advice, or if you would, choices we used to give the kids when they were getting young. If you had a can of corn and you wanted to serve corn, you said, okay, who wants corn and who wants lima beans?
Right.
Corn.
And we didn't even get into medical advice.
Yeah, no, and medical advice probably is one of the most important avenues of advice that we have today.
That we don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes we take with a grain of salt, or we say, oh, it's.
Well, there's so many treatments for things too that you almost have to go into the doctor, you know, with ammunition, with advice, with learned advice from other sources like Google.
A lot of times you do.
You know, doc, what do you think about this medication?
Right.
This new medication for my migraines. You know, and if the doctor says, "Oh, I'm not familiar with that one," your reaction kind of is, "Well, gosh, how come?" You know,
or it could be, well, you haven't heard that much about it because it hasn't gotten such rave reviews by other doctors.
Been approved by the FDA.
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah, but you know, when you're seeking, especially when you move, oh gosh, you need advice from every avenue you can.
Yeah.
When you move, for plumbers, electricians, for doctors, for so many different things, you seek the advice of your new neighbors or relatives that maybe live in the area.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Well,
that's all I got.
Yeah, well, I have one more piece of advice.
Oh,
yeah, be right here again at 1 o'clock next Thursday.
That's very good advice
for another edition of Opposite Saxes. That's good advice.
That is excellent advice.
Right. Okay,
and I'm going to take you up on that.
Okay, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.